There you go. Hey everybody, I'm Anna Canzano. Welcome to That Expert Show. I'm so glad that you could join us for this segment about hair. I figured what a great way to kick off the new year, because so many of us can relate to struggles with hair, whether it's just a bad hair day or thinning hair or hair that's going gray. I mean, this is an issue that is relevant and relatable for many of us, most of us, I think, and it's something that I've just personally been curious about. So we scoured the globe and we found an amazing expert to interview. He is the artistic director with the distinguished Mario Russo salon out of Boston. He has worked at New York Fashion Week. He has done work with Miss USA and Miss Teen USA. He has also worked with actresses Bridget Moynihan and America Ferrara and Anna Camp from Pitch Perfect. He has also traveled the country educating people about how to style and cut hair in the best way. His name is Sal Malafronte, and he joins us live right now from Boston. Sal, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
I am so excited that you are going to be sharing your knowledge with us today, because we have a bevy of questions from people who have already known that this show was coming and have questions about hair. So are you ready to tackle some interesting questions?
I am ready. Let's get started.
Awesome. Well, you know, one of the key questions that people have been asking is simply thinning hair. Whether it's because of aging or because of some kind of medical issue. I think a lot of women, in particular, are concerned, like when they're getting into their 30s, 40s, and 50s, that hair is just not as voluminous as we had, you know, in our luscious 20s. And so what advice do you have about thinning hair?
You know, thinning hair could be happening for a number of reasons. Sometimes it can be the aging process. Sometimes the hair does get a little bit thinner. Or sometimes there could be something that's a little bit off balance, whether it be hormonal, maybe your body is lacking a vitamin or a mineral. So the first thing that I do when a client comes in is try and assess the situation and figure out if it's just the natural aging process or if something else is going on there. And if I think that something else is going on there, I tell them immediately to make an appointment with their doctor or to make an appointment with their dermatologist, just to make sure that everything in their body is operating the way that it should and it's not lacking for anything. Sometimes a new medication can also make hair get a little bit thinner. So that's something that they need to look at as well. Sometimes when it's just the natural aging process, then there's lots of products that we can do that we can use that I would recommend. Thickening shampoos, thickening conditioners, styling products that will help thicken up the hair. All of those are readily available here at our salon and at other salons. And also a really great haircut can make all the difference. Sometimes you do have to go a little bit shorter when the hair's getting thinner, adding a little bit more layering, maybe adding some bangs to give the illusion that it's thicker. So thin hair can be an issue, but there's so much that can be done to change it.
This is something that I personally relate to, because my hair was like falling out and I was like, what's going on here? And I did go to the doctor and find out that, you know, I have a thyroid issue and that's why my hair is thinning. So it's definitely something that I've struggled with. I know that I've combated it over the years, not just with thyroid medication, obviously, but with like teasing. But do you have any tips on teasing? Because I'm pretty sure I do it wrong every day.
Well, teasing is not the easiest thing to do. It took me a little while to really get the hang of it. The important thing to do is when you are teasing hair is to take smaller sections. If you're taking too thick of a section, the teasing won't get all the way through and it will just flop down. So smaller sections. You also need to have the right type of teasing comb. And I like a rat tail teasing comb that has several different types of combs within there. You can get them at any sort of pharmacy or drugstore, and that really makes a difference when you're teasing the hair. Is the tool that you're using.
Is having the right tool.
I also,
okay.
yes, finding the right tool, and also when you're teasing the hair, it's important that you go down, out, and around. Down, out, and around.
Oh.
And always tease the same number of times for each section that you do.
Okay,
So you can't
I'm
sort
definitely
of
doing this all wrong. I do the
totally
opposite of
wrong.
everything you just said.
Yeah, a lot of the times clients will tease their hair and they'll tease one part 8 times, one part 5 times, and then it all just gets lumpy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, lumpy.
to keep
Yep.
everything smooth and uniform, the best thing to do would be to tease everything the same number of times. And I go anywhere from 5 to 15, all
Okay.
depending upon what needs to get done, how long we need it to last, how big the hair is going to be.
Okay, I love this. This is such good information. The show is really just for me. I know I say that it's for everybody else, but it's really just for me.
Listen, I'm happy to help you or whoever else.
Yeah, because I'm just picturing all the times where I've just taken huge sections of my hair and teased it, and it's just a rat's nest, and then I try to smooth it out, and it's a disaster.
Just flops down,
Yeah.
just flops down.
So Alicia wants to know about easy on-the-go hairstyles. She says, I'm not a morning person, so I would love to find a hairstyle that looks good to go in 5 minutes or less, or basically any tips or tricks to make my hair look done without a whole lot of effort. Is there such a thing?
Okay. Absolutely. My 2 go-tos are top knots and low chignons. And as far as I'm concerned, you could go to the Oscars, you could go to the White House, you could go anywhere with a top knot or a low chignon. And they're both very, very easy to do. It doesn't matter if your hair is clean or if it's a little bit more on the dirty side. And it's very, very simple to do. Spray a little dry texturizing shampoo in your hair, work it through the hair, shake everything out. Then you pull everything up into a ponytail on top of your head, and you wrap it around, and you use some hairpins to pin it. You're good to go.
Wow.
And that's the top knot.
Okay.
And that should take you 2 minutes.
Okay, and then
2
let's talk
minutes.
about that low chignon. Is that what you call
Chignon.
it? Sounds so
Yep.
fancy.
Basically, it's a fancy word for low bun.
Okay.
So you do the same low ponytail you do the same ponytail that you did up here, except you do it at the nape of the neck.
Okay.
And then you wrap the hair around itself, put in some hairpins, and you're good to go. And make sure that you're using hairpins and not bobby pins.
Hairpins and not bobby pins. Those are the ones that are kind of wider, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the hairpins are wider and they're much easier to put in when you're doing it yourself. I almost never use bobby pins. I almost exclusively use hairpins. They're easier to work with, and I think that they do a better job.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned dry shampoo, and I have
Yes.
friends that are huge fans of this, but I'm unfamiliar with it, therefore I don't use it at all. Can you talk to me about dry shampoo? Like, what is it and why does it help?
Dry shampoo is by far the saving grace. That it's good for men, it's good for women. If you don't have time to do your hair and it's a little oily, it will absorb all of the oil, and it will also give your hair just a really nice texture. So the brand that I use exclusively is from R&Co, which is my favorite product line, and it's the Death Valley dry shampoo, but it's a spray. So it's not an actual powder or a shampoo.
Okay.
It's a powder that is in an aerosol can. So if you're trying to absorb some oil, you section the hair off and spray the dry shampoo on the area that you want the oil absorbed. You pat it down there, take another section and do the same thing, and you can go all around your head. And that will absorb all of the oil. It'll make it look fresh. It'll make it look better.
Okay.
And I often use the dry shampoo as a texturizer as well. So a lot of the times I will just spray it all over the hair like a hairspray and then run it through, and it will give the hair some volume and it will give it some texture. It has a really sexy second day look when you use
Aha.
it like a hairspray.
I like that. A sexy second day look. That
Yes,
sounds very appealing to me.
it's a lifesaver.
Okay, I'll have to experiment with that and see how that works out for me. Hair health is another topic that folks are asking about. Mary, for example, on Facebook wants to know, what are the most essential products or supplements that we need to keep our hair healthy? So I think she's thinking, like, is there a vitamin that she should be taking, or is there an actual product that you should be putting on your head or scalp to keep your hair healthy?
Yes. Well, products are absolutely very important. If you're using the wrong products, it's going to have a negative effect on your hair. And all the time that you spend cutting it and coloring it, it's not going to come together or look like it should if you're not using the right product. So yes, that's very important. Also, taking a multivitamin, taking fish oil, taking biotin, taking collagen, all very good for the hair. But I will say the single most important thing that a man or a woman can do for the health of their hair is not to wash it every day.
Aha. And so not every day, meaning every other day, every 2 days, 3 days?
I would start off with every other day. And a lot of people don't realize that when I say you can't shampoo every day, it doesn't mean that you can't get your hair wet
Aha.
every day. It doesn't mean that you can't run a conditioner through it every day, and it doesn't mean that you can't restyle it. I think people freak out that, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning and then I have to go. No, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, no. You can start from scratch, just don't put shampoo on it, because the shampoo overstimulates the scalp, which oftentimes makes the hair oilier.
I see.
So when you do start shampooing every other day, a lot of the times the scalp will still be producing that amount of oil. So for the first week or two, until that calms down, your hair could be oily. So that's when you do the top knot or you do the low chignon.
Right. I like that you circle it back to that. So then I have a
Yes,
question about conditioning.
yes.
This seems so fundamental and elementary, but do you condition your whole head, or do you only condition from like the ears down? Because I've heard both. I've heard that I've been doing it wrong when I condition my whole head of hair, and I should just do it from the ears down.
Yeah. Well, if your hair is finer textured, you first off should be using a thickening conditioner. So you can use that from the roots to the ends of your hair.
Okay.
If you're not using a thickening conditioner and your hair is healthy up here, I would recommend putting the majority of it on the ponytail part, and then whatever's left on your hand, sort of just quickly running it through and then rinsing it out.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot of questions about color. Erin wants to know whether, and these are questions that people posted on Facebook prior to this interview. Erin wants to know
Okay.
if there's any way to successfully home dye your hair as an amateur.
No. Nope.
Asked and
There is-
answered. Okay, moving on.
Nope. There is no successful way to dye your hair at home. Nope.
But why is that? Because a lot of us, we're on a
Because
budget and we want to save money, and it's not always affordable to go to the salon and have it done.
I can assure you that it will cost you more money when you have to go in and get it fixed than if you had just gone in on a regular basis and got it done professionally. It's always, always, always better. You never know what you're getting when you use something from a box. The color never matches correctly. You have to be aware of how you're applying it. You don't want to overlap because then it just builds up on the hair. It is a recipe for disaster. Every single day, we get people in the salon who need their hair fixed. Every day.
So then that brings up the question of gray hair. And there were a lot of questions about this from folks. Rena, Heather, Penny all wanted to know, how do you deal with gray hair? And this may be a whole separate question, how to grow out your gray in a flattering way.
Okay, so I am a huge fan of gray hair. I love gray hair on men. I love gray hair on women. I don't think that gray hair makes you look old. I think looking old makes you look old. So it's not the gray hair. Gray hair can sometimes get a little bit yellow, so there are violet-based shampoos that someone can use to combat that and really bring out some of the beautiful gray and silver tones in the hair. In terms of taking care of it, gray hair can often be a lot coarser than what your hair used to be. And you just need more moisture. You need more moisture to combat that, more moisturizing shampoo, conditioner, and styling products. And a lot of them are geared towards gray hair, which is fantastic because a lot more people are letting their hair go gray. So in terms of growing out the gray, it's not an easy process, but it can be painless if you're with the right colorist. And the important thing to remember is that you have to start out with about 6 months worth of regrowth.
Okay.
So that means if you've been getting your hair colored with the one process, you're getting your roots done all the time, you have to wait about 6 months.
Interesting.
And once you get that 6 months of growth, then whatever the base color that you were using to color your hair with, you foil that into the hair. And what happens is over time, you gradually foil less. And so you're using less of the base color and you're allowing the gray to come out more. So eventually, after about a year, your hair is totally gray and silver and white.
Interesting.
And some people will want to make that quicker, so they will cut their hair off, which is kind of a cool, fun thing to do, to, go gray and cut your hair off and take it from there. I love it. I've recommended that to a lot of my clients, male and female, much to the chagrin of our color department. And not one of my clients has gone back to coloring their hair.
Interesting. Okay, that's a big step, like to make that decision for somebody is a big step.
Huge step. And you know what? Some people will never be ready for that step, and that's okay because there are so many options for beautiful hair color, so many ways of coloring the hair, whether it be foils or one process or balayage. Colored hair is it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But if you do get to that point where you don't want to do it anymore, it's not the end of the world for you to go from coloring your hair to gray hair. You just have to have a little patience.
Well, what's funny is that like young people now, like gals in their 20s are spending huge amounts of money to turn their hair gray and silver.
Yes.
Like that's the look right now, and it's
and that's a huge thumbs down for me.
Is it really?
Huge. I'm all for gray hair, but not at 22 years old. I don't like it.
It's just a fad. I mean, speaking of fads, for 2018, what are you seeing as far as trends in styling? Bangs, no bangs? What are we talking about?
Trends in styling. The thing with trends in styling is that people think that every single season there is a whole new look. And it really isn't the case. There are things that hang on for a couple of years. I am noticing that clients are letting their hair get a little bit longer. A lot for the past couple of years, it's been sort of around this area, the whole lob look, and also a lot of work with the wand and the curling iron. And I've been guiding my clients, and I've just been noticing in general in the salon that things are either getting a lot longer or they're getting a lot shorter. And if they're going a lot shorter, we've been adding some really cool bangs in and adding a lot of texture to the hair. But when the hair is getting longer, when you're growing out that lob, it's all about straight, really healthy, nice blowouts, and on occasion, really, really flat ironing it to get it really flat.
And
So
when you
that's
say,
what I would say is.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I didn't want to cut you off, but I wanted to clarify. When you say lob, you mean a long bob, right?
A lob is a long bob,
Okay.
yes, and that goes anywhere from about the collarbone to about 3 or 4 inches lower than that. So
Okay.
somewhere around there is what I would consider a lob.
Got it. Okay. Sorry to interrupt there. Kelsey has a question. This also has to do with color in a way. She says, her question is, she's got bleached out hair. What's a good product after the shower so that her hair isn't lifeless and dull? In humidity, her hair naturally has a beautiful wave and curl, but in the Pacific Northwest, it's wild and hair oil is too heavy and makes her hair gross. Nasty, actually, was the word she used.
Nasty. Okay. Well, we certainly do not want her walking around with nasty hair. So the first part of the question, could you say it again for me? The first part was about.
So she wanted to say that she wanted you to know that her hair is lifeless and dull when she gets out of the shower. And that
Yes.
in humidity, her hair naturally has a beautiful wave and curl, but in the Pacific Northwest, it's wild.
Okay. So I would say if for the first part of the question, if her hair is dull and it's lacking life, that means to me that it's not healthy and it needs some strength.
Okay.
So Kerastase has this amazing line. It's called their resistance line. And anytime someone comes in with lifeless or damaged hair, using the shampoo, the conditioner, and the styling product, it's the resistance line from Kerastase. I have never seen a better product at bringing life back to the hair. For whatever reason, the hair is lifeless.
Interesting. Okay. Kelsey, I hope that answered your question. We have another question about braids. Quinn wants to know, how do you apply braids into the hair? And I guess I should have clarified with her, but I'm assuming she means like the braids that you put in right at the scalp. Maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So there are tons of different types of braids, and I got to be honest, my braid game is not good. Every single year, my resolution is to learn braids, and guess what? I didn't learn it last year either, so it's back on the list this year. But in terms of the braids that are very, very, very close to your head, it's something that you really need to practice a lot. It's not super easy to do on yourself because you're working sort of in this motion. You'll always have to be in front of a mirror. So I think it's best to go to somebody that knows how to do the braids. Go to a professional, discuss how you want the braid to go, what type of braid. Like I said, there's a ton of different types of braids out there. So I think just, to sum up, the best thing to do would be to consult a professional, but when you show up, have some ideas and have some images of things that you like and things that you don't like.
Very good. All right, I have one last question for you. How do you
Great.
pick a good stylist? I mean, I know that, it all has to do with chemistry sometimes and how you get along, but what are some basic ways that you would suggest somebody pick a great stylist?
I think the most important thing is to figure out exactly what you're looking for and then shop around and find a person that you feel can give you what your vision is for your hair. And that may be going into a couple of different salons and meeting with a couple of different stylists, doing a consultation. I know that here at our salon, we have just consultation appointments if that's what someone is looking for. And we have the person come in and we spend a good 15 minutes or so getting to know them, getting to know their hair, looking over images, and discussing what direction the client would like the hair to go in. So once you've found someone that you think can give you what it is that you're looking for, I think it's important to stay with that person because over time, you develop not only a friend relationship, but the stylist gets to know your hair, gets to know how much effort you're willing to put in, how good you are at your hair, what your hair can and cannot do. So I think it's really just trial and error and really going with your gut.
Yeah, that is great advice. I didn't even know that consultation thing existed, so that is a fantastic tip. Well, Sal, thank you so much for joining us. You have provided a wealth of information, and I know that our viewers have really appreciated it as well. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I was really happy to do it. Thank you for asking me, and I hope that I was able to answer all the questions.
Yeah, and if you have a chance to go back into Facebook and take a look at any other questions that we didn't cover, that would be fantastic. All right, have a great day.
I'm going to do it.
All right, and
thanks so much.
Thank you so much for joining us for this segment on hair. It's been really enlightening. I've learned a lot. I hope you learned quite a bit too. Remember, you can always connect with That Expert Show on Facebook and Twitter. We are on Facebook and Twitter at That Expert Show. We're also on Instagram, but you may be watching this on my Facebook page at Anna Canzano. And look, I know life is busy. Sometimes you can't always catch things live, so we always post this show on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, That Expert Show. You can always go back and watch the videos there, comment or share them. And sometimes I know it's easier just to kind of listen to things. You're busy, you're going about your day, and so we put this show back out to you also as a podcast on Apple, iTunes, or Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all those different platforms. Those are the various ways in which you might catch the show as well. So that's it for this episode. I invite your feedback. Let me know what we're doing right or what we can improve. We're always trying to make the show better, and that's really the nugget of the show. It's That Expert Show, where you help run the show. See you next time.